Rural Kansas residents say they've had enough having the lights from wind turbines affecting their everyday life. I'm Bronte Sorotsky with a bill that could change things for them in a big way.
Plus, a local COVID testing site is updating its options, and Oklahoma health officials shift to endemic response to the coronavirus.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Some Southeast Kansas residents say they'd like to see the state do more to limit the annoyance of wind turbine lights. This is KOAM News at 6. KOAM's Bronte Sorotsky spoke with a Labette County resident and state senator about a bill that aims to fix the issue.
These wind turbines might not look like much during the day, but at night, all you can see are bright, blinking lights.
We were traveling home from doing some ministry work and came up on 101 highway to head home towards Mill Valley, Kansas, and we noticed just a bunch of red flashing lights that just went miles from about this view.
Debbie Kramer is a concerned resident of Labette County. She says the lights from the wind turbines that guide aircrafts hit rural residents like herself the hardest.
I'm here to voice the concerns of those who do have to live around the lights continually.
Senate Bill 478 would make Kansas wind energy systems possess light mitigating technology systems in compliance with federal aviation regulations.
The way it would work is that most of these work on radar technology. So when there's an aircraft nearby, it turns the lights on. Otherwise, the lights stay off. So it would greatly reduce the amount of time that you're seeing those aviation lights flashing.
Kansas isn't the first state to look at technology like this. In North Dakota, state law requires most wind farms to have this technology.
But now they need to step up and start helping to protect our rural Kansas because it really is impacting an awful lot of people.
Kramer says not all residents are affected by these lights, but the ones who are could really use the relief.
There's nothing that we can do to keep lights off of the turbines. It's there to protect the aircraft. But what is important is that this Senate bill, it's a great answer to alleviate the annoyance of the lighting issues that we have.
In Labette County, Bronte Sorotsky, KOAM News.
That bill will be heard in a committee on Wednesday. Grand River Dam Authority police have identified a drowning victim at Grand Lake as 60-year-old Kevin Callanan of Sarcoxie, Missouri. Authorities say last Thursday, Callanan was backing a truck and trailer down a boat ramp at Twin Bridges State Park. As he was going down the boat ramp, the truck went into the water and Callanan never resurfaced. Doug, had kind of a dreary day out there.
Yeah, we just couldn't get rid of the clouds throughout the daytime hours for us today, really kind of sticking around all day long. They've been breaking up a bit over the past couple hours, but whatever clearing we get, they're going to roll right back in for us later on tonight and into the daytime hours tomorrow. We do have another wave that is going to shoot to our south and then another one behind it that will start to affect us a little bit later on in the week. It is cold. We're sitting lower 30s, mid 30s out across southeastern Kansas. We'll drop back as we go through the evening hours eventually into the 20s. I think most of us will bottom out 26 to about 27 degrees. Of course, it's March. Tomorrow, 10 a.m. on the Missouri side, we have the statewide tornado drill. So don't freak out about that, but at 10 a.m. that's going to be going on. We also have snow chances in the forecast later this week. We'll talk about that here in a bit.
See you then. A local COVID testing site is making sure some changes to better serve the community. Starting today, Seeds of Hope is offering free rapid testing in its Joplin location. Their Neosho location will get rapid tests on Friday. They do still offer PCR testing at both locations. Officials say when you show up for testing, you'll be performing both tests so you can be sure of your results.
And we'll come out and we will test you with the rapid, and then we will follow it up with a mouth swab PCR test. So that is less invasive for anyone, children and seniors, you know, basically everyone.
Seeds of Hope is also changing the lab they send PCR tests to because the previous lab had staffing issues that led to delays. Oklahoma officials are shifting their coronavirus response efforts to an endemic approach. State Interim Health Commissioner Keith Reed says the department is preparing to begin a transition into the endemic phase of the pandemic. The disease reaches the endemic stage when the virus still exists in the community but becomes manageable as immunity builds. Reed says the shift to an endemic response doesn't change the way the health department would respond if a new variant caused another surge. Members of the Oklahoma House unveiled a package of new restrictions to crack down on illegal cannabis growers. The 12-point plan includes a standardization of lab testing and equipment, more inspections of grow facilities, separate licenses for marijuana wholesalers, and stringent new reporting requirements for growers. Officials say nearly 10% of Oklahomans have a license to buy medicinal marijuana. Law enforcement officials argue the loose regulations have led to an increase in illegal operations. Republican lawmakers in Kansas are advancing a measure to prevent the governor from entering into legal agreements that change state election practices without getting prior approval from the legislature or its top leaders. A Senate committee approved a bill in response to an agreement that Democratic Governor Laura Kelly reached in October with voting rights groups to head off a lawsuit. The agreement allows Kansas residents to register to vote at state agencies that provide social services benefits. The measure goes next to the full Senate. Some Republicans argued the legislature should be involved in such agreements because it has the power to write and revise election laws. Coming up, Pitt State celebrates an annual tradition going back more than a century, Apple Day. Plus, a lunch lady in Missouri is hailed as a hero again after saving another student who was choking.
Associates.
Pitt State faculty and students today celebrated a long-standing tradition, Apple Day. The event was started in 1907 when the university's founder, R.S. Russ, and Pittsburgh's mayor at the time lobbied lawmakers in Topeka to fund a permanent building for the school. During the lobbying, Russ broke a rule by sitting in a legislator's seat and was fined a barrel of apples. When the delegation returned, students jokingly fined the faculty another barrel, which the faculty paid. Ever since, PSU's faculty has celebrated Apple Day by distributing apples in various forms among students.
Yeah, it's an important tradition. I mean, I think if you look out there, you've got several dozen different desserts that students, faculty, and staff have made. So yeah, it's just one of those really fun traditions that we have here at Pittsburgh State.
Also, as part of Apple Day, the university presents awards and scholarships to students and faculty. Pitt State today also hosted a ribbon cutting to mark the completion of a renovation of the original Broadway entrance to Russ Hall. The original entrance was built back in 1940 as a gift from the senior classes of 1936 through 1938 and the class of 1940. This renovation was funded with gifts from the senior classes of 2000 and 2003 through 2008.
Those senior class gifts are usually the first gifts as donors to an institution, and giving back is critical. You'll notice on campus there are tag events all over that celebrate and acknowledge the gifts that are made possible through gifts from community members.
The classes involved in the renovation were invited to today's ribbon cutting. A Missouri lunch lady has saved another life in the school cafeteria where she works. That makes 2 in the past 8 years. Reporter Carolyn Hecker has a profile of the lunchroom hero.
Eat your lunch.
The cafeteria inside Heritage Intermediate School in Wentzville can be chaotic.
How we all doing?
Danielle Eichmeyer has worked the lunchroom for 26 years and seen it all.
Everybody okay here?
Every day she wears multiple hats, from disciplinarian,
Turn around, keep your hands to yourself,
to listener,
So how's everybody's day going so far?
to janitor.
Make sure you got all your trash.
But on one day in January, she became a lifesaver.
I was eating a Lunchable. It had a cracker, cheese, double of cheese. So I was eating and I swallowed it whole. So it felt like it got stuck around here, and I just felt like I couldn't breathe, and I was trying to get my mom's attention.
Shelby's mom works in the cafeteria too and immediately began slapping Shelby on the back, trying to free the food, but it wasn't working.
I happened to notice that her mom was kind of slapping her on the back, and the other kids were looking very panicked. So I was like, something was wrong.
I looked back and I saw Miss Eichmeyer swimming through the kids, and she put her hand on my stomach and pushed really hard.
Started doing the Heimlich maneuver, and I did it a couple of times and it didn't work. So I kind of put my leg between her legs to hike her up a little bit higher.
It took 3 times and it came up, and I just feel so grateful that she was there and helped me.
Shelby went to the nurse to get checked out and was back in class that afternoon. The terrifying ordeal, a flashback to 8 years ago, when Eichmeyer saved another student choking in the lunchroom.
You know, when we're doing the training, I always said, I'll never remember this, I'll never remember this. But he walked up to me and was doing this, and I said, are you choking? And he said, yeah, and I spun it. It was like I was trained and it stayed.
That 4th grade boy, now a senior in high school, thanks in part to Eichmeyer's quick thinking in 2014.
When I heard she did it before, I'm like, Miss Eichmeyer is the best teacher, and I'm pretty sure that kid was very grateful for her.
As the lunchroom excitement ends for the day, it'll be back on Monday, as will Mrs. Eichmeyer.
Anybody need anything else?
Looking out for the kids she considers her own.
A little later, the Winston Churchill Museum in Fulton, Missouri reflects on his famous Iron Curtain speech and its relevance to current events.
Plus another storm system rolling in later this week. We'll check that out coming up. Well, it definitely turned out to be a cold day for us today. After the storm system over the weekend, we had scattered thunderstorms Saturday and Sunday. Of course, our heaviest rain was yesterday, and thankfully, we didn't get much in the way of severe weather around here, but a lot of areas picked up a decent amount of rain, about 1.25 inches in Joplin for the year, only at 4.35, so we're actually behind by almost 1/4 inch so far in 2022. Nice shot. This is Orlando Chevrolet Cadillac Tower Cam Joplin, of course, on the southeast side of the city. All right, temps are cold. We're sitting mainly into lower 30s. We really couldn't climb much today. A lot of cold air behind this storm system. Mid-30s once you get out across southeastern Kansas, northeastern parts of Oklahoma, and a little breezy. At least the winds are slowly diminishing, but still a northwesterly wind at about 5 to 10. You can see those clouds breaking up along the horizon, looking off toward the north and to the west. 33, pretty much calm winds. Humidity is at 70%. Through the evening hours, we slide back slowly through the 30s into the 20s, 26, 27 degrees for an overnight low tonight. So the clouds have been breaking up southeastern Kansas, but they're going to filter right back in later on tonight. You can see the clouds kind of thickening out across central southern parts of Oklahoma, and this is due to our next wave right out across southern parts of the Rockies. This is mainly going to stay to our south, but it will give us the clouds by the time we head into the daytime hours tomorrow, and then another wave behind it, which will affect us on Thursday and Friday. All right, let's go through time for us tonight. Even though the clouds are breaking up the next few hours, they filter right back in, so that keeps our temperatures up just a little bit. Mostly cloudy skies for us tomorrow, but it should be a little bit warmer. We should go low to mid 40s, 27 to start, 40 by noon, high temp of 44. The winds are going to switch out of the southeast during the afternoon. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy skies. We'll drop back near 30, and then Wednesday looks quite a bit better. Partly sunny skies. We should go into the mid 50s during the afternoon. Then we'll start to watch our next system, which is going to roll in on Thursday. You can see snow picking up to our north by Thursday morning. This is mainly Kansas City, Lawrence, Topeka, and then stretching off toward the west near Salina. I think we'll mainly start as rain, but as this system rotates in, so we're looking at Thursday evening, we're going to get a band of light snow Thursday night, and then into Friday morning, may even get moderate snow at times. Temperatures drop through the 20s. The system will try to work out of here by Friday evening, but we could get some accumulations. I think there's a pretty decent shot we get over an inch, maybe even over 2 inches of snow. Still a few days away, so let's keep our eyes on it, but something we want to watch as we head toward Thursday and Friday, just because Mother Nature, she's not ready to get rid of winter just yet, even though we got teased last week. 44 tomorrow, 55 on Wednesday, 54 but dropping on Thursday, and then a high of 32 with snow chances on Friday. We do get a spring forward this weekend, but I'm hoping this is our last decent shot for snow.
You're hoping, but you're not guaranteeing.
I'm pretty confident.
You're pretty confident. Yeah. Usually you give us a percentage chance on that.
80%.
All right, that's pretty good. Thanks, Doug. As Doug pointed out, with severe weather season starting soon, the National Weather Service is going to be testing tornado sirens. Pittsburgh and Joplin are participating. The sirens, again, will be tested at 10 tomorrow morning. And don't forget, you can be the first to know about the day's weather with the KOAM Skywatch weather app. Get severe weather updates sent straight to your phone free of charge. It's available in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store, the KOAM Skywatch weather app. Still ahead, it's been 76 years since Winston Churchill gave his Iron Curtain speech in Fulton, Missouri, but the Churchill Museum there says that speech still rings true today. In March of 1946, Winston Churchill delivered his now famous Iron Curtain speech in Fulton, Missouri. But this year, some of the passages resound more loudly because of the situation in Ukraine. Reporter Jessica Hart explains.
At Westminster College in Fulton, Missouri, Winston Churchill gave his famed Iron Curtain speech 76 years ago.
From Stettin in the Baltic to Trieste in the Adriatic, an iron curtain has descended across the continent.
It changed the geopolitical map. It defined the Iron Curtain in much of the last half of the 20th century. This was an extraordinarily significant speech, and the ripple effect is with us today.
Timothy Riley, director and chief curator at America's National Churchill Museum, says they honor the anniversary of this speech every year, but this year, the 76th anniversary has a different meaning after Russia invaded Ukraine.
I think one of the great words to describe the Iron Curtain speech back then was prescience. Churchill had a vision. He saw what was coming. And in some ways, last week, that happened in Ukraine. The warning of Russian aggression has come to pass.
Riley says in Churchill's speech, he warned of the threat of a Russian invasion.
I think today we see the reality of a Russian aggression in 2022. The situation in the Ukraine is dire. It's one that Churchill spent most of the 20th century warning us about.
I do not believe that Soviet Russia desires war. What they desire is the fruits of war and the indefinite expansion of their power and doctrines.
And when Riley examines some of the passages from Churchill's Iron Curtain speech, one stands out.
In the speech, Churchill writes that nobody knows what Soviet Russia will do, but we know that they value military strength, and there's nothing they despise more than military weakness. That passage seems to resonate very loudly this year.
And we'll be right back. Take time now to honor a local veteran. Derek Clark joined the U.S. Army in 2004. The Webb City, Missouri native was stationed in Iraq, Germany, Turkey, and the UAE. And we salute Sergeant First Class Derek Clark, a four-state hero. Here's what's coming up on KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. Joplin City Council meets tonight. One item on the agenda deals with how new short-term rental rules will affect the community. Also, some travel experts warn gas prices could surge even further in the next few weeks. And the Walkman is back. Sorta, kinda. Sunny unveils a gold-plated Walkman. That and much more tonight on KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. We have some cold weather ahead this week, Doug.
We do. It's going to be cold for us tonight as we drop back into the mid-20s. 44 tomorrow, still chilly. Back to our average high by Wednesday. Partly sunny skies, then rain and snow chances back in late Thursday night, and into Friday. And unfortunately, next weekend, our weekends are 1 hour shorter.
Yeah, but springing forward to it. We'll see you at 10. Let's make it a great evening.
Salon service is provided by the Wild